Namaskar. We are continuing with the lessons overview, and this time I will talk about third lesson. It is called Tattva Dharana. Tattva Dharana. Dharana means, it comes from the root verb dhar, to hold. So dharana is to hold the attention, to narrow the attention to a certain object and hold the attention there. And tattva is, tat means that, and tattva is like thatness. So the essence of something. So in this context, tattva means fundamental factor. Fundamental factor of the material universe. According to Tantric philosophy, this world, its physical portion, is made of 5 fundamental elements, 5 fundamental factors, such as ethereal factor, areous factor, igneous factor, liquid and solid. They are not just like earth or water. It is every atom and every molecule is combined of these 5 factors. We can understand them just like standing waves, or like fields from where the particles are being born. Like igneous factor gives birth to the photon, to the igneous factor, to the particles of light. So the macrocosm is the universe, and the microcosm is our body. And within our body there are points where these fundamental factors are situated, and they can be controlled from there, the points of control. So that Tattva Dharana is the meditation upon those fundamental factors. Those fundamental factors, the control points, they are located at the same spot where the chakras are located. I have recorded a long series of videos. They are called Biopsychology of Yoga, and there I am talking in detail about those chakras. So the chakras, they are like whirlpools of energy. They are centers controlling different functions of the body, and at the same time controlling different emotions. The chakras are located in the Sushumna Nadi. I'm using so many Sanskrit terms today. Sushumna Nadi, Nadi means river. So in the body, the ancient mystics, they realized, they envisioned that in the body there are many currents, many flows, through which the vital energy is flowing, performing different vital functions. Just like in your house you have bulbs and the switches, and there are invisible wires through which the electricity is going around the house. So similarly, there is vital energy, the vital electricity of the body, and that vital energy, called prana, is moving through many different channels. And there are 3 biggest, most important channels. They are located in the spinal column. One channel is very straight. It goes from Muladhara chakra, the coccyx point. It goes through the spine, enters the brain, and goes straight to the crown of the head. That channel is very soft, and it is called Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna Nadi, the central, it's like Autobahn, the central highway through which the energy will go when you meditate. Then there are 2 more energy channels, very important, very vital. The one is called Ida Nadi, another is called Pingala Nadi. Ida Nadi and Pingala Nadi, they go like this. In the Muladhara chakra they connect. That's why the Muladhara chakra is called Yukta Triveni. The three channels connect. And then it goes like this. It goes like this, like this, like this, like this. And then finally disconnects here. At this point it disconnects and goes to the nostrils. So Ida Nadi ends in the left nostril. Pingala Nadi ends up in the right nostril. These channels, they're constantly switching the activities. One channel is attributed to the sun, another channel is attributed to the moon. So the left channel is of the moon, the right channel is of the sun. When the left channel is working, the body tends to become cool, and you become cool. Your mind becomes cool also. You are able to think, you are able to reflect, to contemplate. It is good time for meditation and asana. Then, when the right channel is working, it is good time for digestion and physical work. At that time we feel a bit restless. There is energy, it's a restless energy there. So, and they are switching on and off every 2 hours, something like that. So you can check right now which channel is working. If you come towards the window, put your nose on the on the glass and then breathe out. You will see 2 clouds of vapor coming out of your nose. One is smaller, another one is bigger. So the bigger one is the dominating channel. And if you start to observe, you will notice that they are switching. And when the left is working, it is very easy to remain calm. And when the right is working, then you are restless. Then those channels, they're a bit hard, and they're pressing the Sushumna Nadi. They're blocking the Sushumna Nadi. So at the exact point of the location of the chakras, there are so-called locks, the blockages. The Sushumna is being locked there. So the central channel has 5 locks. And in meditation, normally, people do not experience the functions of the Sushumna Nadi. Either it is Ida or Pingala. But in meditation, you concentrate and you create the movement of energy within. So the energy from the left channel and right channel, it gets centered and it goes through the central Sushumna Nadi, central channel. It also happens in Kirtan. When you sing and dance with Lalita Marmika and you move from right to the left, from left to the right, you center the energy and the energy starts to flow through the Sushumna Nadi. The beginners in meditation, they experience also different movements of the body as they meditate. They meditate and then there is movement, or they feel something like this is happening, or they feel that they're being, just like swaying. And they ask many times a question, why this is happening? This is happening because there is a concentrated upward movement of the vital energy. And that vital energy is just like, maybe you have seen the hose pipe when it is bended. And when you give the pressure of the water, then the hose pipe will go like this, while being straightened up. So similarly, when you meditate, the flow, you give the pressure of the energy, it goes up, so your body starts to move. It's okay, it will go. It will. You don't need to encourage that. Just sit calmly and observe and meditate. It will go away. But There is one particular difficulty with that. When the energy starts to rise up, and then there is a lock, the chakra, the passage is blocked, then the energy will disturb the chakra. It will make it like this. And then you will experience it as a activation of the vrittis of the chakra. You know that there are 7 centers in our body. Muladhara chakra has 4 petals of 4 instincts. Then Svadhisthana chakra 6 petals, 6 emotional expressions. Then here 10, 12, 16, 2. So when the energy goes from Muladhara chakra, and there is a pressure of vital energy, it goes to the Svadhisthana chakra. There it creates pressure and it cannot pass. So it makes the chakra restless. And then you experience different cravings, different emotions of Svadhisthana chakra. And it is difficult for you to understand why I'm meditating, but at the same time I start to get some cravings, such as I want to eat a lot of food, for example, or there is maybe a sexual desire, something like that. It happens because the passage of the Sushumna Nadi is blocked, and as the energy is trying to come up, it disturbs the chakra. Eventually, if you just tolerate it, after some time, the flow of the energy will break through. It will open the nodes. But it may take some time, some longer time. So we need to help ourselves to open those important locations. So the energy starts to flow nicely, smoothly. So when the energy flows smoothly, you find yourself, your emotions are very, very at ease. It's like you feel very peaceful, and there is a feeling of sweetness, love. So everyone wants that. The third lesson is for that purpose, to open the blockages, to open the locks along the Sushumna Nadi. So there the elements are located, the controlling point of the elements, and the indispensable parts of the chakras. And then you will meditate on those elements using a special mantra. It is a secret mantra. You need to get them from, of course it is a common knowledge that everyone who would take interest in yoga, that there are chakras and there are bija mantras such as Lang, Vang, Rang, Yang, Hang. But that's not all. There is a special mantras, quite elaborate, and they guide the mind how to concentrate on the particular elemental, on a particular fundamental factor, on how to concentrate on a particular chakra. And it is like a sonic guidance. You repeat it. I know one person, he was, many people thought that he's sort of strange person, kind of strange. And I also felt a little bit like that. He's a bit peculiar in his expression, in his thinking. And then I taught him the third lesson. And then he said, Dada, I cannot do it. I said, why? He said, even I'm reading those mantras from the paper, already I feel like something is, I feel like I'm twisted, and something is untwisting me, straightening me, and it is kind of uncomfortable. I say, okay, Go ahead. Learn, practice. I couldn't believe that within like 6 months, he has become completely different person. He became very, very pleasant personality. It was one of the miracles that I have observed about the third lesson. So those mantras are very essential. The mantra itself will straighten up the chakra. It will open, it will create the passage for the energy. Apart from opening the flow, since the emotions are not being disturbed, you will get a peaceful state in meditation. When you meditate, you'll just like to sit longer. Because why we cannot sit in meditation? Because our vrittis, the tendencies of the mind, are getting disturbed. Restlessness, desires, imaginations, so many things. But when it is all, nothing of that is activated, you just like to sit longer because you are feeling pleasant, blissful peacefulness. Apart from that, the energy, actually every emotion, every thought takes a lot of energy, vital energy. We eat food, we breathe, we absorb the rays of the sun, we drink water. So from all those, we absorb something which is called prana, vital energy. And that energy runs our body. And every thought, every emotions burn some part of that energy. So when you manage to keep your emotions calm, then the energy starts to get accumulated. And that creates a magnetic personality. Magnetic personality. It is my observation that I see the person. He is intelligent, but he doesn't have Shakti, the power within. So he will sit at the table and talk, and I observe how does the conversation goes. Nobody listens to him. Nobody takes seriously. But after half a year of practice of third lesson, he may say something intelligent. He may say something unintelligent. Doesn't matter. But when he will say something, everybody is gonna listen. That's how we are. We are drawn, we are attracted to the higher energy. When the person has higher energy, immediately we accept that person as a leader. We immediately accept that person as something advanced and we start to follow. So that is one kind of side effect of the third lesson. You acquire the magnetism. That's why this third lesson has some dangers also. It marks the transition from preliminary yoga to the higher yoga, from Prarambhika yoga to the Sahaj level of yoga. Prarambhika means preliminary. Preliminary, the first lesson and second lesson of meditation, where you attune your mind with the idea of Brahma, with the idea of absolute consciousness. And then third, fourth, fifth lessons, they are lessons of power. You have put your car in the proper direction, but the engine is so weak, it moves 1 meter per second. You're getting frustrated. You are definitely going to that goal, but you are going very, very slowly. So the third lesson is there to throw out that engine, that weak engine, and put a very powerful Ferrari, the Formula 1 engine there in the car, so that you can move very fast. But if your steering wheel is not in the proper hands, if you are not properly steering your life forward, then it also can become the cause of downfall, a cause for downfall. So it is a very responsible lesson. You need to become aimed at the supreme goal. And those powers that are coming from the practice of the third lesson, you should see them just like trinkets, toys, nothing else, and you are not attached to them. Another side effect of this lesson is so-called supernatural powers. There are interesting powers in every chakra. Here, everywhere. Like for example, here there is the power of ultra strong digestion. Means everything gets burnt in the body, no toxins remains, and the body starts to become very shiny, very beautiful looking. And similarly, I will not tell you, I'm not supposed to tell you, but there are many extra powers these chakras they provide. And this one especially, it gives a lot of things, many things. There are multitude of, you can almost say, divine powers here. So that also can be the cause of downfall for the person, because you become fascinated with the beautiful things. It's like, wow, I can do that, oh, I can do that. It's like you get the powerful mind which is basically capable of getting what he wishes, what it wishes. So, but that is, of course, when you start to ride the car, there is a danger. If you walk by if you are a pedestrian, not much danger. But if you sit if you sit in the car and drive, there is much more danger. But still, we sit in the car and drive. That's why. So the third lesson, Tattva Dharana, is the meditation on the chakras. It will open the passage of the Sushumna Nadi, and it will stabilize the Chitta. Chitta is the objective portion of the mind. The mind will become calm and stable. And for the highest lessons of meditation, such as sixth lesson of meditation, dhyana, this stability is what is all important. The stability of the Chitta, because in dhyana, the person has to build up a cosmic ideation, bit by bit. It's like with a small mind, or let's say with a small camera, with a small lens, you're trying to capture a big mountain, and you're very near to it. So you have to make many snapshots, and then combine them together. And then as you take that snapshot, you still need to hold this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So slowly, you are utilizing the entire potentiality of your brain. But if your brain is restless, gone. Everything is gone. Whatever you built is gone, is no more there. So through the third lesson, you establish that kind of control over the mind. It's not moving. It's just meditating. Yeah. And then as a side effects, the most important thing is to clear the passage of the energy. And then also one thing is that when you start meditating is the movement of the vital energy, pranaha. It's not kundalini. Kundalini Shakti, a special force, divine force, sleeping at the lowermost vertebra in your spinal column. So that force, when it is getting awakened, through the power of devotion, when you have very, very strong desire to achieve the Supreme, that force is getting awakened and start to rise. So by that time, the Kundalini Shakti will rise. Then the passage has to be clear. Otherwise, there will be like, you will be like very, very vocal. You will be like, ooh. Many times people, they shout, they sit in meditation and they will, they do like this. And also jump in meditation. I've seen so many times. Also, I experienced myself. It's like, it's about, after 3 years of meditation, person acquires, even earlier, the person acquires strong enough concentration to rise up the Kundalini Shakti. But then, the system is still weak. So that's why the person sits and then he jumps. All these expressions are happening in the body. And then, and other people will see, wow, this must be a very advanced practitioner because he is expressing like that. And the older practitioners, they just sit, maybe sleeping. Nothing happens there. But actually, why nothing happens? Because the passage is clean now. So when something happens, it happens very calmly, quietly. There is no outer expression. Actually, that outer expression disturbs the concentration. There are different, like you shout is one thing, then sometimes the hair stands like this, the hair stands. Then sometimes yawning comes like, this also different symptoms. Sometimes you start to laugh, sometimes you start to cry. These are all different expressions when the energy moves upward. But the best is nothing happens. But you sit in that. And with every chakra, you achieve the closer communion with the divine goal. And it rises here, you feel the presence. It rises here, you feel the closeness. It rises here, you feel the divine touch. It rises here, you feel the merger, that your body merges with the cosmic. And then here, your I feeling merges with the cosmic I feeling. And then here, you go beyond the creation. You achieve the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So that is yeah, I think that's all. The third lesson. I hope I understand, I explained clearly. And if something still more to understand, you write in the comments, I will try to answer. Thank you very much. Yeah, and these lessons, especially this one, have to be learned from the teacher. Should never be practiced from the books. This is not good. It should be learned from the qualified teacher at the time when you are ready for this. And then also, body has to be sattvic. Because the greater force you have, like if you have darkness in the mind and great force of energy, then that entire force will be dark. But if you have become very subtle and very godly, saintly, and then you increase that force, so that force will increase that saintliness. That is why it is very important when we teach the students, we ask, are you pure vegetarian? First 2 lessons we don't ask normally. I don't ask. It's okay, you're doing meditation? Okay, here the second lesson. If you are doing regularly meditation, collective meditation, fine, get the second lesson, no problem. But the third lesson I will ask, are you eating vegetarian diet without onion, garlic, mushroom, no alcohol, no tobacco? Yes. Are you fasting 2 times a month? Yes. Are you doing asanas once a day? Yes. These kind of things. Because you follow a certain lifestyle, it creates the quality of your energy, the quality of your quality, your color becomes white. You become yeah, you become pure. So to that purity, you add the force and power. It becomes good. But if there is impurity and you put the force and power, it becomes very bad. It's not good. So it is a big responsibility to have that kind of lesson, and also it's a big responsibility to give that kind of lesson. Thank you. Namaskar.